So we need to talk about this Makai Lemon shit. I'm a schnook, small micro channel, so I get to play the conflab footage. I don't have to worry about demonetization because I'm not monetized. I do this shit for fun. I saw this interview and I haven't heard of him before, but it came up recommended and I thought it was a good little YouTube channel. That is right there. Coach JB show with Big Smitty.
Like when you talk to Makai Lemon, like you feel like I got to get out of this conversation before, you know, I get on the get shot list.
I probably say Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know, type of grit he plays with, you know, type of way he can have a positive impact, you know, on the team without the ball in his hands.
Who's one NFL player you model your game after or look up to?
The mannerisms of an LA gang member looks like. That's Makai Lemon. The popping the shoulders, you know, the moving back and forth.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go 3 for you for sure. I'm going to go Jay Jettis. I'm going to go Jamar Chase. I'm going to go JSN.
Why is this kid doing that? And if Sean King's the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are you drafted him, Sean? Go.
I mean, I feel like I'm a strong enough person to have a conversation with him, like, isolated one-on-one and, like, get to the bottom of, like, first of all, do you realize what you're coming off as? Because you're talking about this kid never really has left L.A.
Never. See, we got to get a macro conversation because Smitty's on such defense mode when you bring up any black young kid and then he automatically thinks we're bringing up a negative energy about that young black kid. So we have a macro discussion. Fuck all that. Perception is fucking reality, homie. I'm giving you a lot of money. Sean King just broke it down and said, let's figure out why you're doing this, not judge you on who you are, but why are you this way? Because I'm about to pay you, Smitty, to be on my team. For how long? You don't think they're doing investigative research on this kid, Smitty? It doesn't mean we're judging him for being a hood kid or this. You know how many white kids get? Hey, how was he out there when he was hunting fucking deer? Did he fucking aim the gun at you ever? Real shit. I've had that question answered me, homie. You out of your fucking mind if you don't think the fucking FBI, former FBI members are NFL security now. They're doing 6th grade research on these kids. It don't mean I want to know who he is, though, homie. I'm not going to give him no money and when he's up there motherfucker like this. I don't want no fucking stupid shit in my locker room either.
Right, which is the case. So let's not blow it out of proportion for him. They're going to do their research on every player anyway. So we don't have to like make a bigger deal for him. He has no back, as far as I look, background. He's been flawless, ain't got no trouble. He's a hell of a player.
These guys, they have real experience. So if you want to listen to them, you should. I'm just some guy. But I feel like we need more voices from people who've been on both sides, the perspectives of that position. So I'm Korean American, born in 1990. Korea was, I think it was like a second world nation at that time. They were a third world nation like 40 minutes before that. Asians weren't getting employed, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So I was born in these humble little neighborhoods, the projects, in the hood, moving constantly between hood, project, nice little apartment complex here, a hood, projects, a very cute little townhouse here. And, you know, like that was kind of my upbringing. Most of my upbringing came from this particular housing projects. My whole world was the neighborhood. It didn't mean I was a gang member. It didn't mean I was a gang banger. That's just my culture. So fast forward, I'm like 18, 19, 20 range. I want to move to LA, but I want to like be in Hollywood, doing music, producing, engineering. So granted, I'm still me, so I can't really afford to live in a nice house. So I'm still living in like little hood/neighborhood hoods. Not too crazy, you know, some gang territories. Some of them kind of stressful for someone like me, someone who looks like me. Yeah, you know what? Let's not get into the gang politics. But anyway, in the neighborhoods I lived in, I felt like normal. I was like, oh, this is cool. But anytime I was doing work, trying to do work, network, et cetera, people were like freaked out by me. But the thing is, I was proud of the way I was raised. My parents, I thought, raised me very well. And even when they were absent, my community, my peers, and their parents, they raised me just as well. I was somebody who really cared about other people. When they talked, I really listened. I want to look them in the eye and be present with them. And I want to prioritize their life story, their needs, what they're trying to communicate with me. So that's the kind of person I was. However, I was very rough around the edges because I'd never not lived in a hood 99% of the time up to that point. I'm talking to them, asking them questions, getting to know them, answering their questions, trying to be pleasant. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, we had a pleasant conversation. And in their mind, they're like, I got to get the fuck away from this kid. And a lot of opportunities eluded me, and the fault was put on me. But the thing was, I didn't judge them by my standards, because where I grew up, the way they act would have been a problem, potentially. And where they grew up, the way I act is a problem, potentially. However, when we're meeting, I don't care about none of that, because I never subscribe to, oh, you're different, so I'm judging you. I'm not a judgmental person. So I just get to know people as they are. I don't care where you're from. So when I meet them, I take them as they are. I'm not judging them by my standards, because that'd be unfair. If they're swell people, then I want to know that they're swell people without having to meet my brand of swell people. But when they see me, they judge me by their standards, and then that's it. It's a wrap. No opportunity, no nothing. But besides that, I still had a lot of good friends, family members, mentors who were really good to me, and they were there for me as much as they could have. But as far as networking, nah, like it weren't feeling me. So here's another thing. I was born in New York, but I grew up a lot in Reno, Nevada. I stayed in San Francisco a lot. My parents couldn't always watch over me, so they dropped me off in San Francisco with their mom. I would be dropped off in LA. I'd be dropped off back in New York. So I never lived anywhere more than a year. But where I had the most social life, where I go outside and breathe in that good ass prana and culture, was New York. So in New York, it's like this stereotype where people just talk and they just talk. That's it. We don't have to add a smile. We don't have to like throw emojis to it and shit to like, hey, it's like if we got something to say, like, hey, you eat today? Cool. You hungry? You want to get something to eat? That's it. Whereas in LA, it's like, oh, how, you hungry? Did you eat? Like we don't really add the extras unless we find it to be really necessary, or unless your personality is just like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's times, even with my friends who've known me for years, like I'm confused on what they try to tell me. So I'm asking for clarification. So I'm just like, what you mean by that? But you just said, when you greeted me, you just said this though. And now all of a sudden it feels like there's a switch up. What's going on with that? Huh? Like I'd be like that. And then they get all weirded out, like, yo, why you pressing me? I'm like, I'm not pressing you. I'm just asking for clarification. I'm just asking questions because I care. The thing is, like, if I don't get what people say, because a lot of kids, like how I was, we got disregarded. People don't care what we're trying to say. So I care. I grew up caring. So if you say something I don't catch on, I want to stop and I want to understand what you're trying to say. Because I want you to know that your words, your thoughts matter to me. So I'm going to stop and I'm like, wait, hold on. What you mean by that? So you want to ask for clarification. My friends are like, yo, why you pressing me? Like, why you getting aggressive? And granted, these friends aren't really from New York, but I was like, well, I'm just asking for clarification. What you talking about? And then they get really freaked out. So, but the thing is, I'm giving them I'm giving them what I think is a gracious thing. I'm trying to prioritize what they're trying to say. I'm looking them in the eye, trying to be present with them, yada, yada, yada. Now, granted, if you were to meet me now, I'm somebody who likes to be able to bond and connect with people better. So if I'm in your hood in Louisiana, which I've never been there, I want to learn your slang, the culture there, the street culture, the sense of humor there. Not because I want to replace it with who I am. I just want to add it so that I learn how to bond better and relate to people from Louisiana better, as an example. Same with Jersey, same with goddamn Wisconsin. I've been meeting people from Wisconsin, shit like this. So over time, I get more and more exposure, and then you meet me now, and I'm a regular person. You wouldn't think I'm anything else but a generic NPC on this planet. But for sure, when I was in my teens and 20s, I was still that way. It's just that I had a thick accent back then. I had a body language. I knew one body language back then, and that body language where I'm from is just body language. It's just swagger is celebrated. So, and also like I rock back and forth a lot. Even when I was 27, 28 modeling, they'd be like, "Yo, stand still," because because the settings on the camera aren't meant to like pick up movement, or at least for a lot of the shoots I was at. So I had to stop rocking back and forth. But even then, like no matter what I've been at, swagger was celebrated because I remember when I was young, I heard this saying, if it's worth doing, it's worth making an art out of doing. So I was trying to apply that not just to the arts, but to speech, to the way you walk, the way you brush your teeth, the way you open a can of tuna, like everything could be artful. Like, so another way you could look at it is to add your flavor, your swagger to it. But another way is just to be present and intentional with your movements. There's a lot of ways to interpret that. So that was always celebrated. Now, if I was in one type of neighborhood, maybe that was to be like that Audrey Hepburn style, intentional, no wasted movement, James Bond-esque body language. If I was where I'm from and then where I moved to in LA, neighborhood-wise, it would be like, yo, I mess with the swagger, swag to the ceiling. I like your flavor, neighbor, et cetera, et cetera. So, even though there's different flavors, depending on what's most coveted and celebrated as body language and how you present yourself in terms of your speech and self-expression, it's all the same thing, which is you're making an art out of doing the little things. Now, when it comes to Makai Lemon, I don't know if he's trying to make an art out of that shit. I feel like he just is where he's from. This kid, I think he's born there, raised there, from there, been there. Obviously, I'm going to relate to that because I've never not lived in a hood up until I was about his age. Yet I would talk to people with respect. And I thought, I'm thinking we having pleasant conversations and they just over here being freaked out and talking about me when I'm not there. Like I'm trying to be a certain, people even saying, yo, you trying to come off a certain way. But I'm like, I'm not even on Front Street. Like, I'm not flamboyant. Like, I'm not like, I wasn't talking a certain way and then being flamboyant and energetic about it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I wasn't even doing that. I was just chill. People said I was, one of my nicknames was dark skin energy because I just be laid back in the cut, like, like this. So I wasn't trying to be anything. I was just chilling. I was probably one of the most quiet versions of a person you could be up until you want to converse with me. Then I want to really focus on you. So going back to this Coach JB show joint, I don't want to take away the conversation. I just wanted to add an element. You talk about like, you really want to look into a kid's background. You want to portray yourself a certain way. I agree. However, this is unrelated. This is just, I'm not used to people from that area. That's what this is to me. That's what I would be thinking should be the issue for most people. I'm not used to people with his swagger. But people are taking it as like, he acting like we're having his behavior be associated with things that would get you in trouble on a background check. How? It's just an accent and a body language pattern that 90% of the people where he's from, they got that. So why does it have to be a gangbanger? Like, they got plumbers where he lived. Why can't it be associated with a plumber or an electrician? You know what I'm saying? Or it was like, what about Hollywood? Like, they portray SoCal gang members to be like that a little bit. That's a fucking movie, dumbass. It's a fucking movie. We watch mafia movies. You think every Italian with a little bit of swagger is affiliated or something? No, that's just how Italian Americans, that's how they get down. Some of them are affiliated, some of them are involved, and some of them are just fucking plumbers. Like, it's just their culture. It's the subculture within the culture of America that helps make America what it is. So I'm just like, yo, he's not even doing or saying anything that is associated with anything. Other than like the neighborhood he's from. Here's a different example. Let's say you got a New York athlete and then he's for whatever reason, saying Blicky and all these things in the interview. Nah, Blicky's associated with something, so that'd be different. But Makai Lemon, he's not saying anything. He's just answering the questions. And he's doing a very media-trained answer. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a blessing if, he's not even really saying anything. He's just listening and answering the question. So when people say he's acting like and then saying these criminal activities, I don't think that's a Makai issue that he's doing that. I think that's probably a viewer issue that you're associating that to somebody's speech pattern and body language, which is actually just a reflection of where they're from. It's 2026 and we still blaming the individual for you having a stereotype associated with something that they're about. It got, like the 90s, if you saw a minority hooded figure, like you would just have a stereotype, right? I thought we were done with that. I thought we were at least, even if we're not done with it all the way, I thought we were at least trying to catch ourselves on that behavior. Like, oh, shoot, I stereotype based on the surface level shit that actually doesn't have anything to do with anything. I mean, son, we got people with a thick accent and demeanor, people from Texas, people from Louisiana, people from the Midwest, people who are just proud to be where they're from, people from New York. I remember New York Jets fan here. We had Izzy Abanikanda running back. He was just talking like he's from where he's from. You know what I'm saying? And then we have someone from SoCal by Long Beach area. And then it's all this extra shit like, bro, what you talking about? Now, if he was like that and he got in trouble, that's a different issue because that means he's from or adjacent to a neighborhood that has bad influences and he has been caught up in those influences in the past. However, if there's no history of him getting in trouble or getting caught up in other influences, then he's just simply from an area. Like there's never been an issue before. So that's not even an issue. Like he looked like, I'm not saying he's quiet in like a negative way, but he just looked like some quiet to himself type person. It looked like he could bond with people, shoot the shit, crack jokes, bond with people and all that. But he don't look like he's like on Front Street or anything like that. He just looks like a kid from where he's from, probably just does what he's asked. I mean, I don't think anyone's perfect. I'm sure he's jaywalked before or something. I don't know. But as far as like truly problematic behavior, is nothing there for it. So I just wanted to say all this to say this. If you find yourself picturing all this extra shit just because you hear his voice and you see his body language, I would ask you to self-reflect before you, from my view, gaslight him for how uncomfortable you're feeling. Is an accent and body language really an indicator of all these extra specific images I have in my head of him? Or is he trying to act a certain way? Well, if he's trying to put it on like that, I feel like we humans, we know when people are trying to put something on. Look like that's just him. Like, I think it's pretty clear that's just him. I think we know when somebody's faking a personality or faking an accent. And you look at his background and he's just simply always lived around where his accent is associated with. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, what they say in football, point the thumb, not the pointer. Do that first. Otherwise, what these other heads are asking him to do is, hey, change your behavior to work around other people. What if there's nothing wrong with your behavior? What if the only thing wrong is the stereotyping? Then wouldn't you want the people who are stereotyping, profiling to be the ones to maybe make an adjustment, upgrade their firmware a little bit? Why ask the kid who's actually literally doing nothing wrong? Everything I said, that's idealist's thoughts. Realistically, is this draft stock potentially going to fall? Yeah, probably. And I think that's fucking stupid. But I think his draft stock probably going to fall because say you're in a top 5 position and you need a wide receiver and you got like 3 wide receivers that's in the same tier and one of them freaked you out and the other 2 didn't, you're probably going to get one of the other 2, right? Because you want to work with people you could be stuck in a room with. I just think that's a shame because Lemon, his responses were kind of like a blend of media trained nothing burger responses, but also thoughtful. Like he praised Amon-Ra St. Brown, grit on and off the field. None of his answers were aggressive nor deflective. He had an intense stare, sure, but is it stare or eye contact? Like, if you're talking to somebody and then they look you in the eye as you're talking to them, are they staring at you or are they just giving you eye contact? If you staring at me, why the fuck is you staring at me, right? Like, you have no business to be looking at me. But if you do have business to be looking at me, aka I'm asking you a question, I'm not gonna say you staring at me. I might make fun of you like, bro, you ain't blinked in like 2 minutes. And also some people, they just shoot lasers out of their eyes with the eye contact. But yeah, I mean, dude, he wasn't rude. He seemed chill. I think it's more about twisted perceptions of a kid that looked like him. You gotta call him what he is. He's mixed. He's half Asian and half black, I believe. Let me confirm this. Okay, so mom Asian. He identifies strongly with that Hawaiian American side. Grandmother was a pure Polynesian. Family ties in Maui. His father, no ethnicity details. So we know he's at least half Asian. His dad, people assume to be black. So he's mixed. And if you mix and you proud of both sides, one thing that I feel like we should not do is just to refer to him as one side, because he's made of both, raised by both. He's proud of both. His genetic gifts are from both. His personality was raised by both, you know. So I don't want to just call him Hawaiian. I don't want to just call him whatever his dad is. He's a mixed kid, proud Hawaiian American. So anyway, SoCal, people taking a SoCal accent as thug. If you take an accent as thug, you have an issue you need to work on still. Now, if you are saying things that are thug, if you're portraying yourself as a thug person, different. But if you just have an accent, you're not really saying anything, then it's probably an issue with the receiver, not the sender. I feel like what things should be, the weird interviews should just be noise, not red flags. I mean, PR-wise, we had Caleb Williams, who kind of was on that emo shit, and that didn't tank him. And I don't think this should tank Makai either. Granted, 2 different positions. Now, if they had like a for real dickhead or aloof, like they don't care to be there at the team meetings, that's a different thing. But if it's like cultural difference or you're not used to the way that he is, then that's just an issue of exposure. That's not no one's fault. You just haven't been exposed to people who are from where he's from, etc., etc. I would say, like, is he treating you right? Because if he's different to you, that probably means you're different to him. If he's treating you like kindred, even though you're different as well, then you know he's a good dude. That the differences don't matter to him. He's going to treat everyone the same. You know what I'm saying? So from what I've seen, I didn't watch no film on him. I just watch highlights. Good route running, good ball skills. Doesn't mind blocking. I don't know if it's his favorite thing. But more of the story, judging the kid's accent or gaze as ego probably reveals more about the critic stereotypes than that kid's character. That's a wrap on this. Hope everyone's taking care of themselves. I hope everyone's excited for the draft, the upcoming season. Good luck to everyone's team in the draft. Take care of yourselves today. Peace.